Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into something pretty cool today, the UK's graduate visa.
It's a hot topic for sure. Lots of people itching to stay in the UK after their studies, right?
You got it. And we're slicing through that dense rulebook so you don't have to. Think of this deep dive as your trusty map through the graduate visa jungle. No more getting lost in the jargon.
Exactly. We'll shine a light on what matters most so you can figure out if this visa is your golden ticket.
First things first, who's even allowed in this exclusive club? What does it take to be eligible?
Well, picture this. You've just tossed your graduation cap in the air, you're riding that degree high, but hold your horses. The UK wants to see that you've experienced their education system firsthand.
Meaning, you already need to be in the UK on a student visa. No hopping over on a tourist visa and suddenly becoming a graduate visa superstar.
Exactly. Gotta play by the rules. And naturally, you'll need that shiny new bachelor's, master's, or PhD from a UK institution. But here's where the plot thickens. The UK government is pretty specific about your university having a solid track record of compliance.
Sounds a tad serious, doesn't it?
A bit like, are you sure you went to a real university? Kind of vibe.
Kind of. But really, it's about making sure your uni has a history of playing by the UK's immigration rules. Think of it like this. You're choosing a driving instructor.
You want someone who knows the rules of the road inside and out.
Exactly, not someone who just got their license yesterday. Same goes for your university. You want an institution with a proven track record.
Makes sense. You've got the degree, you've been in the UK, your uni is top-notch. The next big question, how long can you actually enjoy this UK life with a graduate visa? 2 years. That's 24 whole months to chase that dream job, explore every corner of the UK, maybe even perfect that British accent, eh?
2 years to truly immerse yourself.
Yeah.
But rumor has it PhD grads get a little something extra, like a longer welcome mat.
They do indeed. 3 years on the graduate visa if you've got that doctorate. The UK knows those PhDs are bringing some serious brain power to the table.
3 years to conquer the UK. Not bad at all. But I'm sure some listeners are wondering, what happens when the clock runs out? Can you just keep extending this dream forever?
Sadly, no. This visa has a fixed duration, no extensions allowed. But UT, and this is key, it's the perfect launchpad. As your graduate visa winds down, you might be eligible to switch to a different visa category, like the skilled worker visa, which could lead to something more permanent.
So it's a strategic game of visa chess, eh?
Exactly. You make your opening move with the graduate visa, build your foundation, and then aim for the long game.
I like it. But remember, everyone's situation is different. This deep dive is all about giving you a solid understanding of the basics, but getting personalized advice from an immigration expert. That's crucial.
Absolutely. They can help you strategize, make sure you're ticking all the right boxes.
Couldn't agree more. Now, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, money. Like most incredible adventures, this one comes with a price tag.
It does. And it's best to be prepared. No surprises.
Exactly. So let's lay it all out there. We're looking at an $822 application fee, plus a yearly healthcare surcharge of 1,035 hours.
Now, that healthcare surcharge, that's key. It gives you access to the UK's National Health Service, peace of mind knowing you're covered.
Absolutely. Think of it as an investment in your well-being. And here's a little insider tip from the source itself. If you end up working in public sector healthcare, after getting the visa nurses, doctors, care workers listen up, there's a chance you could get a refund on that healthcare surcharge.
Always worth exploring those avenues. Don't just assume you won't qualify.
Couldn't agree more. All right, enough about paperwork and finances for a sec. Let's talk about the good stuff. What can you actually do with this graduate visa? Picture it, your all-access pass to UK life.
A chance to really plant your roots, build a life, experience all that the UK has to offer on your own terms.
Freedom is the name of the game. You can work, and not just any old job, pursue your dream career, go freelance, be your own boss, the choice is yours. Plus, you can build a life here with your partner and kiddos, assuming they meet the requirements, of course.
Right. It's important to remember, though, while this visa opens doors, it does have its limits. Understanding those is just as important.
Solid point.
Yeah.
So where does the UK draw the line? What are the you can'ts of the graduate visa?
Two big ones come to mind. While you're building that life, access to public funds. Yeah, that's limited. No relying on government benefits. And here's a curveball. You can't go full-on pro athlete on this visa.
So if you've been secretly dreaming of playing for Manchester United, might need a different game plan.
Exactly. Different goals, different visas. Speaking of which, let's rewind back to that eligibility maze. We keep mentioning needing a degree from a recognized institution, but what does that actually look like in the real world? Is it any degree?
Right, because I'm sure someone out there is wondering if their underwater basket weaving degree counts.
Underwater basket weaving, eh? Now, while that's not specifically listed, you might be eligible if your course ties directly into a job regulated by UK law or a UK public authority. So, maybe a tiny glimmer of hope for our basket weaving grads out there.
There's always hope. But let's bring it back to reality for a sec. Those more, shall we say, mainstream degrees.
Right, right. So think your typical UK bachelor's degree, master's degree, or a PhD. Those are your safe bets. But the UK does throw in some interesting additions for those who took the scenic route. Like, say you completed a law conversion course, those approved by the Solicitors Regulation Authority. You're golden. Same goes for the legal practice course in England and Wales, the solicitor's course in Northern Ireland, or the diploma in professional legal practice in Scotland. All green lights from UK visas and immigration.
So a whole bunch of law conversion courses get the thumbs up. And hey, listeners, remember, you can always double-check that source document for the full list if you're unsure.
Always a good idea. Double-checking never hurts. Now, while we're talking details, let's not forget about those entering the medical or education fields. A foundation program in medicine or dentistry, a PGCE, a PGDE, those are all recognized and accepted too.
Fantastic news for those future lifesavers and educators out there. But here's a question that often pops up. How long do you actually have to have studied in the UK? Is it just like the length of your course, or is there more to it?
A bit more nuanced than that. Generally, you'll need to have studied in the UK for at least 12 months if your course is longer than a year. But if your course is shorter, like a one-year master's program, then you got to be physically present in the UK for the entire thing.
So that semester abroad in Italy. Amazing experience, but doesn't count towards this residency requirement.
Sadly, not for this visa. But hey, those experiences are still super valuable. Might come in handy for other visas or even job applications down the line.
Very true. It all adds up. Okay, but let's address the elephant in the room, the one we all tried to forget about COVID. The pandemic really threw a wrench into everyone's plans, especially international students. Did the UK government offer any flexibility for those whose studies got disrupted?
You bet. Big time impact for sure. And thankfully, the source document acknowledges that, offers some much needed wiggle room. If your student visa was for more than 12 months, any time spent studying remotely outside the UK between January 24th, 2020 and June 30th, 2022 actually counts towards your UK study requirement for the graduate visa.
Wait, so even if you were stuck at home, rocking those Zoom lectures in your PJs, that time still counts?
You got it. The UK government recognized how crazy things were and adjusted accordingly.
That's a huge sigh of relief for so many people. What about students who are on those shorter courses? Any provisions made for them?
Absolutely. If your student visa was for 12 months or less, you might still be eligible. There are some dates to keep in mind. If you started your course before June 21st, 2021 and entered the UK by September 27th, 2021, you're in the clear. Or if you started between June 21st, 2021 and June 30th, 2022 and entered the UK by June 30th, 2022, you're good to go.
It's a bit of a time warp situation, but essentially the UK is acknowledging the chaos and offering some flexibility.
Exactly, trying to be as accommodating as possible given the whole global education roller coaster. Now, we've touched on bringing partners and kiddos along on this UK adventure. Let's unpack that a bit more. This source document gets into the nitty-gritty of who qualifies as a dependent and how they can apply to join you.
I bet that's music to a lot of listeners' ears. Celebrating those achievements is always sweeter with loved ones by your side. All right, let's talk dependents. Who can join this UK adventure? Spill the tea.
Okay, so the UK government, they're pretty specific about who qualifies as a dependent. First off, partners. You'll need to prove you have a genuine and subsisting relationship, usually. That means marriage or a civil partnership that's officially recognized in the UK.
So that marriage certificate or civil partnership document is key.
Absolutely. Now, if you're not married or in a civil partnership, don't worry. You can still apply as partners, but you'll need to show you've lived together in a relationship for at least 2 years when you apply for the graduate visa.
2 years of shared experiences, building that life together.
Exactly. Proof is key. Now, for children, there are some rules too. Generally, they need to be under 18, unmarried, and not in a civil partnership, and usually living with you, unless they're away at boarding school or university, of course.
Got to keep those family ties strong. Speaking of which, we mentioned earlier that children born in the UK during that initial student visa might also be eligible for this dependent visa. That's a game changer for families who've grown while studying here.
It is. No need to head back home just to sort out a separate visa application for your little one.
Huge relief.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still a process, right?
Yeah.
What needs to happen?
Of course. It's pretty straightforward, but you'll need to provide the necessary documents. A full UK birth certificate that lists both parents' names, for example. Think of it like building a visa application team. Everyone needs their paperwork in order.
Love it. Teamwork makes the dream work. So you've ticked all the boxes, got your documents ready to go, everyone's excited. What's the actual application process like? Is it as simple as clicking a button?
Almost. Just like the graduate visa, dependents apply online. But each family member needs their own application.
So each dependent, separate application, separate fee.
Exactly. And they'll each need their biometric residence permit, or BRP card for short. That's the physical card that proves their right to live, work, or study in the UK. Essential for anyone who's not from the EU, Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, or Liechtenstein.
Like each person having their own little visa passport. But there must be some link back to the main applicant, right?
Absolutely. When applying, dependents will need your unique application number, or UAN. It's like a digital string connecting their applications to yours, showing you're applying as a family unit.
Gotcha. A digital family tie. One last question before we wrap things up. What if a scholarship or sponsor covered the living costs of a partner or child during the student's time in the UK? Does that affect anything?
Great question. In those cases, the partner or child would need a letter of approval from that scholarship or sponsor, basically giving the thumbs up to the graduate visa application.
An extra layer of reassurance.
Exactly. It shows that their financial situation has been considered and things are looking good.
Well, there you have it, folks. The UK's graduate visa demystified. From eligibility and costs to the freedoms, and yes, a few limitations, and of course how your loved ones can join the party. Remember, this deep dive was your crash course, your cheat sheet to understanding this fantastic opportunity.
Now it's up to you to take this knowledge, do your research, and see if the graduate visa is your next adventure.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And hey, if you hit a snag or have a question that's like super specific to your situation, don't hesitate to reach out to an immigration advisor. They're like your visa gurus, guiding you through any tricky bits.
Consider them your trusty sidekicks on this exciting journey.
Perfectly said. We hope this deep dive has left you feeling empowered, informed, ready to grab those UK dreams by the horns. Until next time, happy exploring. May your UK chapter be full of success and unforgettable moments.